Hi, my name is Lexi Jong and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do a get ready with me video using some products that are new to me. And as you can see, I have skincare down and sunscreen. My face is nice and shiny. It's gonna be a low-key day today with some more homeschooling. So we're gonna go ahead and just test a few things out and keep things low-key. I'm gonna start by taking my Surratt Perfectionist primer, and this is one pump. And I just like to spread this over my skin with the sunscreen. It really just kind of mattifies the sunscreen a bit and creates a nice canvas to put on the makeup, and I don't have all of that extra shine from the sunscreen. Next, I'm taking the Hourglass Veil Eye Primer and just taking a little bit and rubbing this on my lids. And this primer feels more like a moisturizer. So I actually, when I first got it and I tried it out for the first time, I was really surprised by the texture because it felt so moisturizing that I didn't think it would work well as an eye primer. But I have found that the results I've had with this are great, just as good as the Anastasia Beverly Hills primer, which up until this point was the one that I used the most because it gave me the best canvas. I do still want to try the P. Louise at some point, but the shade that I want has been out of stock this whole summer, so I don't know when I'll get to that. Now I'm going to be using this for quite a while, and I'm really enjoying it. It's not drying at all, which is very pleasant. For foundation today, I'm testing out the new Coco Moisture Foundation. This is the new formula in shade 012. So I'm just going to get a little bit on my hand. I like how it's a squeeze tube and I can actually control how much product comes out because I typically don't use a full pump of foundation in general. So we're going to start off just a little bit here. And this is the Shiseido T11 brush that I'm using. When I purchased this set, I got the Coco foundation brush with it, but I still haven't washed it, so I'm gonna just use this one. Actually, I think that's pretty good, but I'm just gonna add a little bit more to my cheeks here. So you can see that this foundation does have a little bit of a gluey, not gluey, glowy look to it. It is moisturizing. It feels more like a moisturizer to me than it does a true foundation. So far, I am enjoying it, but this is only my second day wearing it. So you don't have to set this with powder, but I'm going to. Before I set the foundation, I'm taking the Chantecaille. This is the Camouflage Stilo, the Camouflage Stilo Anti-Fatigue Corrector Pen in shade 1. And I love this actual product. I don't like the packaging. I don't know if it's just me, but the clicking, it takes forever to actually get the product out. Still waiting. It's starting to look a little dewier. Let's see, here we go. And then now it's oozing out. So it just takes a while for me to, I'm a little too impatient for this. I'm going to set the under eye area with the Pat McGrath under eye powder in light, and I'm using the Shiseido F05 brush for this. Just gonna get a little tiny bit. Just gonna tap that on. A lot of times I just use my finger to apply this powder. And then to set this, yesterday when I was testing foundation, I used the Coco powder. I want to see how other brands do. So we're going to go in with the Sisley. This is the Phyto Pudra Compact in shade number 1, Rosy. And I'm taking the Armani, I think this is actually the blush brush, but it's huge. So I have been using it for powder. And when I bought this, I thought it was all goat hair, but I when I got the package, the actual box says it's a mix. So I think it's maybe goat and synthetic. I don't remember. I threw away the package, but just a light dusting. You can see that mattified it just a touch, but you still have some of that dewy look coming through. Before we move on to the rest of the face, let's go ahead and do eyes. Today, I want to use the Chantecaille Chrome Luxe Eye Duo. This is Grand Canal, and we have two shades, Laguna and Rialto. Let me just show you what those look like. So this one's Laguna, and Rialto is this one. So you can see that Laguna here is going to be a green with gray undertones in there. And Rialto is going to be more of a soft gold shade. I'm going to start off with the Rephr 15 into the gold shade. Just getting a little bit on the tip and going to do a light crease and inner corner with this. I'm going to buff that right under the eyebrow, but I'm using more of what's left on the brush, so it's just a tiny bit of shimmer going up there. Just getting a little bit more for the inner corner. And I'm using this brush because I kind of want it to be a little messy in there and just have a little bit more of an ethereal look. Next, I'm taking the Sonia G. This is the soft shader, and I'm going into the green. Product comes up very easily. Going back in with Rephr 15 and just gonna kind of blend that crease area a little bit. Wiping off the soft shader, I'm actually gonna use the cleaner looking side. I'm gonna go into the gold and I'm going to press this lightly across the center of the lid. I actually think this duo here would be a great holiday look. I love the combination of kind of that green with the gold, but again, that green has some more grayish undertones to it, and I love it. So let me pick an eyeliner and we'll see. I think for eyeliner, I'm actually going to use the Chantecaille Le Pearl. This is their pearly green, so the shade is fair. And I'm not going to do a wing. I'm just going to keep it close to the lash line. You can see, closing my eyes, I got some of the eyeliner on the lower lash line, so let me fix that real quickly. I'm just going to take my microfiber cloth and dab that a little bit. All right, there we go. And for the lower lash line, I am taking the Chantecaille. This is the eye blend brush. And I'm going to smudge in a little bit of the gold shade right here, the inner third, just a touch. And then I'm taking this brush into the green and I'm going to use that under the rest of the lash line. For the rim of the lower lash line, I am taking the Chantecaille Brightening Eye Kajal in Nude. I'm just going to run this. I'm not going like super far into the waterline, just on the very edge here. I've worn this once so far and I didn't have any issues with sensitivity, which I'm always super cautious in the waterline because my eyes are very sensitive. Okay, so I think that really does give a nice brightening effect. While I have you in close, we're going to test out the Gucci Brow Pencil. This is shade number 3, Châtain. really does look like powder going on here. It was hard to pick the shade selection, so I ended up kind of looking at a lot of reviews. This is a little bit redder toned than I was expecting. Now that I have strokes in everywhere, I'm going to take the spoolie side and blend that in. I have to say, this pencil is so easy to use. It goes on softly, and so you're not like pressing at your skin. And it really does have that beautiful powder finish. This is pretty cool. I like it a lot. We'll see how it wears through the day. The spoolie on this is nice and robust. You can see it's actually, you know, a relatively thick spoolie, and the hairs are firm. So it's a little scratchy, but not in a bad way. You can just tell that it's really getting there to all the product to kind of move things around and soften it a bit. I'm going to do my mascara, and then I will meet you back to finish my face. All right, so this is the final eye look from a distance. And now let's go ahead and start with, well, actually, let's do a little bronzer. I'm taking the Gucci bronzer in number 1 Fair, and this is the Shiseido F04. I've really ended up gravitating with this particular bronzer. I really like this brush, and I've noticed that I prefer certain brushes with certain bronzers, but this one's really, it's a soft brush and it's a soft bronzer, so they work well together for me. A touch on my nose. It's a rainy day today, so we're just going, you know, not super bronzed. I'm going to take the Chanel blush in 02 Rose Bronze, and this is the Shiseido Z4. And one thing that I wanted to note, this is the special burgundy packaging. Even the little brush that comes with this has the little burgundy logo on it, which I thought was a nice touch. So I really like this. Chanel.com has restocked these blushes. So if you looked before, they had been sold out of all except for Rose Bronze at one point, but now they are all there. And I purchased mine through Marie Panda on Instagram. She's at one of the boutiques. But when I purchased mine, they were all out of stock online, and she still had a couple. So now it looks like you can find them pretty much anywhere. So this is definitely a lot more metallic-y than I expected. I thought it was gonna be a little bit lighter, so I kind of went in a little too heavy. All right, it looks a lot better on this side. This side's a little bit too much. So let me diffuse that. I'm gonna wipe off this brush. I'm gonna pinch the bristles and kind of try to make it, it just makes it slightly firmer, not too much because this brush is so soft, but just want to kind of blend that back a little bit. Okay, I think that is a bit better. For a highlight, I'm going to take the Surratt Torche Lumiere in Diamante, and I'm just going to get a tiny bit on my fingers and tap this on. A little goes a long way. You can see how much of that sheen I get just with barely any product. Honestly, if this tube were like this big, it would still take me forever to use this because, I mean, I use so little at a time. Look at this. I still have this much left, and I have easily used this 100 times since I bought it. So it's insane how much is in there. You can see this is putting it down all the way. It's barely moved from when I purchased it. Just gonna add a touch of it to right above my lips. And we'll just add what's left above my brows. I'm not gonna do any finishing powder today, but really want to try this new lipstick in Adrienne. This is the Rouge Coco from Chanel in 402. It's not a new color, but I've never tried it before, and seeing it with the Ball collection, I don't know, it just made me really interested in the shade. It's a really nice nude look, and it's got a hint of peach in it. It's kind of like a brownish peachy nude shade. I like it. It's a great everyday shade. This is my final look for the day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are on these products. So far, I really like everything that I have been trying. The Coco Moisture Foundation, I'll have a review out after I test this a little bit longer, but first impressions are good. The Hourglass Veil I've been using for a little while now, over a week, I think 2 weeks maybe, but really loving this. It's worked very well. It's very moisturizing, so this is definitely a win for me. The new lipstick from Chanel, I really like it. It's got a nice creamy texture, easy to wear and apply, and I think, you know, maybe I'll put like one of the lip pencils, for example, the Pat McGrath Half Naked's a good one, or Done Undone. It's like a little bit of a pinky nude, and putting that underneath here, I think will just change the color just a little bit and make it, you know, even not necessarily better, but a little different for a slightly different look. Sisley powder, still loving that. Pat McGrath under eye powder, still loving that. The Chanel blush in Rose Bronze, it definitely has more of a metallic sheen to it than I expected, but I do like the overall look to it. It's probably not what I would think of for a fall blush, probably a bit more summery, and I can see it giving a really nice kind of bronzy look to the skin. So I like it. We'll have to use it more to see how much I like it. The Chantecaille Eye Duo in Grand Canal, I love it. I knew I would. I've actually tried this one on before a few times, and this is the first time I finally purchased it, but I love the colors. I really wish that Chantecaille would come out with this duo formula, this Chrome Luxe formula in like quads or quints or some sort of larger palette to, you know, not necessarily have to dip into some other palettes in order to get some more color variety. I love having the duo, but this formula is so great. You know, I really love mixing and matching, and I can't wait to try this one with Piazza San Marco, which is the purpley version, and I think it's gonna look fantastic with these colors. Gucci brow pencil, so far, really like that. I love the effect it gave. At first, it seemed like it might be a little bit too reddish, but it's really not. And look at that going on. It goes on really like a powder. And now that I kind of, when I first used it, it felt a little bit softer going on. Now it's a little bit drier than it was when I first used it, but it's not waxy. It definitely feels powdery, and it even has that powder smell to it. This is shade 03 Châtain in the Gucci brow pencil, and yeah, so far really enjoying that. One thing I wanted to know about the Guerlain mascara, and you know, I'm still liking this for a light everyday look, but I don't see any of the claims for volumizing or anything. It really just seems to give a little bit of color, and I'm happy to have it in brown for an everyday look, but I would definitely not use this for something a little bit more glam or vampy even. So let's see, anything else to note? The eyeliner from Chantecaille, I like that one. So used it before, it's a nice one. Still love the Gucci bronzer in Fair, and I also still love the Surratt Torche Lumiere. So that sums up everything for today, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'd love to hear your feedback on any of these products or any suggestions that you have. Thank you so much for joining me, and if you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Stay safe and healthy.